Welcome to the video that will introduce you to the basics of logic, namely statements, negations, and truth values. All right, first of all, we're going to talk a little bit about statements. A statement is any sentence that is either true or false, but not both. So that's important. Statement can be true or false, not both. The truth or falsity of the statement is called its truth value. So when you're asked for truth value, you're asked to respond either this is a true statement or this is a false statement. Usually we represent true using a capital T and false using a capital F. Now, to save us some time, sometimes in logic we represent entire statements using a single letter. The letters that we use most commonly are P, Q, R, and S. All right, down on page 2, it says, determine the truth value of the following statements. So again, when they ask for truth value, what they really want us to specify is whether the statement is a true statement or a false statement. In the first example, it says, let statement P represent the sentence, it is Friday. And as of the time that I'm watching this or making this video right now, that is a false statement, unfortunately. It says, let Q represent the statement 6 plus 8 equals 15. It doesn't matter when you're watching this video, this sentence is a false sentence, and therefore the truth value for statement Q is false. In the third example, it says, let statement R represent the statement December is a day of the week. Statement R is also a false statement. And then it says, let S represent the sentence, the sun is shining. And as of right now, the time and point in which I'm making this video, thankfully, that statement is a true statement. So those examples all dealt with truth value. Is it a true statement or is it a false statement? Now we need to talk a little bit about the negation of a statement. We negate a statement by inserting the word not into the original sentence. We have to do it in such a way that the sentence sounds correct grammatically. So we don't want to toss our English teachers over the ledge here. The little symbol that we're going to use to represent the word not, so this is kind of like texting when you use your phone and you abbreviate and use shorthand notation. That's exactly what we're doing here. This little squiggle symbol is going to be representing the word not anytime you use symbolic logic. So when you see that little squiggle P, what you say is not P. All right, so let's take a look at some examples of what we've got going on here. In this first example, the original statement P says John F. Kennedy was a U.S. president. From your history classes, you should all know that that is a true statement. The negation of P, or not P, says John F. Kennedy was not a U.S. president. And again, notice that anytime I have the not before my statement, I have the word not somewhere in my sentence. That statement is false. All right, let's get into some fun statements now. Statement Q represents the sentence, an owl is a fish. Now, I know that this sentence makes no sense. It doesn't matter if the sentence itself is illogical and nonsensical, as long as you can find its truth value and write its negation. So again, we're going to talk about some silly sentences. It's okay to be silly. All right, so Q, an owl is a fish. That clearly is a false statement. Not Q, again, we see the not, and we have to see a corresponding not in words in the sentence. An owl is not a fish. That is a true statement. Notice that when the statement is true, the negation is exactly the opposite, false. When the statement itself is false, its negation is once again exactly the opposite, true. So an important or big key idea here is that a statement and its negation will always have opposite truth values. A truth table is just a way that we can conveniently display all possible truth values for a particular statement. So this is how you're going to read truth tables. It says, given statement P can either have two truth values. It can either be true or it can be false. Statement not P, on the instance where P was a true statement, not P is going to have to be the opposite of that, or not true, making negation P a false statement. And likewise, anytime P is a false statement, negation P will be the opposite of that. The opposite of false, not false, going to make the statement true. All right, the last thing that we need to talk about is up at the top of page 3, writing things symbolically and in sentence form. So that the example at the top of page 3 says, given the statements below, write the sentence in symbolic form. When you use the words or see the words symbolic form, what they're talking about is using your P's, Q's, R's, and S's and your negation symbol. So symbolically means using the letters and the symbols that you've been given. Tell whether the statement is true or false. We're not going to have any open statements. All right, so for this particular example, P is going to represent the statement Earth is a planet. P is a true statement. R is going to represent the statement 6 is greater than or equal to 5. R is therefore also a true statement. Q is going to represent the statement 2 times 3 equals 8, making Q a false statement. S is going to represent the statement today is Saturday, making statement S also a false statement. So in number 1, they're asking us to do two things. They're asking us to represent or write that symbolically, and again using P, Q, R, and S, and then determine its truth value. Well, I'm going to represent the statement Earth is not a planet by going up to statement P, which talks about Earth being a planet. Since I want there to be a not in my sentence, I'm going to represent the statement Earth is not a planet by saying not P. Since P was a true statement, its negation must be false. All right, number 2 says the statement 2 times 3 equals 8. And again, they want us to represent this symbolically, so using P, Q, R, and S. If I go look at my choices for this particular problem to represent the statement 2 times 3 equals 8 using symbols, I'm going to use the letter Q. And we already decided that statement Q is a false statement. Looking at number 3. Number 3 says the statement 6 is less than 5. If I go look at my choices up above, the only one of those that deals with 6 and 5 is statement R. I want 6 is not less than or equal, 6 is not less than or equal to 5, making 6 is not greater than or equal to 5, making 6 less than or equal to 5. So I want not R, but I want negation R. Since R was a true statement, its negation is false. I'm going to leave the last one of these up to you. Down at the bottom, it says, using our statements P, Q, R, and S from above. Number 1, write the sentence in words. So that means a sentence in words. And again, tell whether the sentence is true or false. So for number 1, not R, well, we decided that R was a true statement, so not R is going to be false. And I will almost always do my truth values first. Since R says 6 is greater than or equal to 5, not R is going to say 6 is not greater than or equal to 5. Or another way to say this would be to say 6 is less than 5. So you can either write what I wrote in green or what I wrote in blue. They both mean exactly the same thing and are both correct. Now we want to write statement not P in sentence. Again, I'm going to go do the truth value first. Since P was a true statement, not P, its negation, must be false. And now I need to go ahead and take a look at statement P, Earth is a planet, and I need to insert the word not in there in a way that's grammatically correct. Earth is not a planet. All right then, I'm going to leave number 3 for you to do. In numbers 4 and 5, we'll talk about when you come back to class.